Welcome! If you're new here, my name is Lucy. I make cozy videos about all of my hobbies, crafting, knitting, sewing, gardening, as well as simple living and a little bit of fashion thrown in here and there. I am a new mother to a baby who recently, I think he's officially a toddler now because my son recently turned 1, and that makes me currently a work from home mom. So today I thought we could talk about how I do all of it. Like how I organize my life so that I can get everything done, everything that I need to do professionally, as well as all of the housework, child rearing, just everything that I need to do in a day. I've made a little list here and let's jump straight into it. So the first and honestly most important thing for me when it comes to managing my time is knowing how much time I have available, and that includes getting the whole family on a routine and schedule. I am a person that thrives on predictability and routine, and I do the absolute best when my day is kind of already formed and I no longer have to think about what I'm going to do when. Knowing what to expect of my days and what needs to happen when helps remove a lot of mental load and a lot of stress. And of course, like, this is the biggest thing with children. They are not always predictable and you can try to put them on schedule, especially really small babies. There is no schedule. But it's still nice to have a little bit of a routine going and know what you can expect when. And especially when you are also working from home, it is good to have set working hours, or at least to know in which situations you're going to work. So that may be the evenings and weekends. For me personally, my husband works from home as well and we take turns. So basically during the day I work during his breaks. So there are 2 set chunks of time every work day that I know that I have to fully focus on work. Baby is with dad then, and I am fully in work mode. And then once children get a little bit older, like my son is 1 now and he has very reliable nap times. I know exactly when he's going to sleep and I know how long he's going to sleep for most of the time. So I know that that is also a chunk of baby free time that I have. We will go into my specific schedule and routines a little bit later, but another thing I have done that is really important is to simplify my workload. After baby was born, I dramatically reduced the amount of hours that I work. I used to work full time, definitely not anymore. But that also means that I have to do everything I need to do in much less time than I used to do it in before. In all areas of my life, I try to make things as easy for myself as possible, wherever possible. So work example, I have an agent now that takes care of all of my sponsorships, the negotiations, communication, everything. And they also handle my emails, which has been wonderful and taken about half of my workload, honestly, because that stuff takes up so much time and so much mental energy. But an example from my personal life, I order groceries. I don't go to the grocery store, or at least I don't do a big food shop. Once a week I will sit down, I will meal plan for the entire week and I will order groceries. And this is so much easier, saves me a lot of time, because I would be going through this whole process anyway of making the list, categorizing everything. I can just press order and it'll be delivered to my door. Otherwise I would still have to actually go to the store, gather all the things, hope that they have everything in stock. And this just saves me so much time, so much effort, with the added bonus of having access to more products. So that has been absolutely wonderful. And if you have that option available to you, I highly recommend it. Getting groceries delivered, best thing I've ever done. But also automating little tasks that are recurring. So for example, we now have light bulbs that automatically turn on at sundown and then turn off again at midnight. And it's these tiny little things that are just one less thing to have to think about. Our entire smart home system is from IKEA, by the way, so it doesn't have to cost a fortune, but just little things like this, so nice. But another example, we have treated ourselves to a more efficient washer and dryer. Before this, we had a washer dryer combo, like 1 machine, and this would, I kid you not, take up to 10 hours to wash and dry a load of laundry, which was fine for the situation that we were in. Now that we have a kid, I can no longer do that. I cannot. Laundry all the time. So getting a more efficient, just better new laundry system has been wonderful. Same thing, cordless vacuum. We recently bought a cordless vacuum and it has made vacuum cleaning so much quicker and so much more efficient, so much easier for me to do. So it's little things like that that just help me do the things I always did a little bit faster, a little bit more easily, and with a little bit less friction. The third thing I do is a mindset shift, and that is that done is better than perfect, and halfway done is better than not done at all. I need to tell myself this all the time because this is something I struggle with, but I am learning to adjust my expectations for how my life is supposed to look, and this is simply not the season of life for a perfectly clean home, perfect meal prepping, and just perfect everything. I can't do it all. There are only so many hours in my day, and I need to use them efficiently. And my priority right now is with baby. So what I've done is to determine the minimum that needs to be done in order to have everything be acceptable. And that is what I do. And then whenever I have a little bit more energy, a little bit more time, I will do a little bit more. But overall, honestly, I just do the minimum amount of cleaning, the minimum amount of house maintenance, the minimum amount of garden maintenance. Well, that's not entirely true. I really love gardening, so I do a bit more there. But that's a hobby. We'll get to that later. And the minimum is the default at this point, and that is okay. And then halfway done is better than not done at all. What I mean by that is, say you have to clean the bathroom and it is on your to-do list, clean the bathroom, but somehow the day got away from you and you only have time to wipe down the sink. It is so easy at that point to feel really overwhelmed and disappointed and just sit there and be like, I can't get anything done, which I'm definitely guilty of this. Instead of doing that, just go ahead and wipe the sink. Because even though it is not everything you wanted to do, you will still have the wipe down sink, and it is still one more thing to check off the to-do list. Honestly, with small children, life just consists of the little stolen moments here and there where you can get something done. So when you get the chance, make use of that time and don't feel bad about it not being enough or not being everything you wanted to do. Just do the one thing. So another huge thing is to accept help. This is very difficult. I feel like this can be especially hard for moms. But when people offer to help, accept it. So please go ahead. Let people babysit for a little bit. Let people cook and bring you food. Let them do a little chore in your house. And when I say accept help, I also mean from other people in your household. And that actually means to take the word help with a grain of salt, because at least in our household, the only job that is my sole responsibility is my work, and everything else is shared between all of the adults here. So that's all of the housework, child rearing, everything that has to do with taking care of the baby. All of that is a shared responsibility and everyone does their part. We have some tasks that are clearly defined, who does them, some things that one person always does. So for example, I always do the laundry, my husband always does the dishes. And then there are some tasks that just happen whenever someone notices them and then that person does them. This is a very important part as well of how I get everything done. I don't. My husband does a lot as well, and that is a huge part of how I get this much time to do things for myself and otherwise. So a huge tip I have for any working moms, whether you're working in or outside of the house, is to get everything out of your brain and plan. Start planning. Oh my gosh, this makes such a huge difference to the amount of mental load that I experience, which can honestly be overwhelming. What I like to do is write everything down as much as I can. Sometimes just to brain dump and get it out of my head, sometimes to compose to-do lists, sometimes to set myself reminders. And I like to actually take action on my brain dumps by planning and scheduling everything that is high priority. Every Monday morning, I sit down and I fill up my calendar for the upcoming week, and that includes everything I need to do for work, any appointments that I have, any time-sensitive tasks that need to happen. I will put all of that in my calendar. A fantastic tool for that I've been using recently is AkiFlow, and they are very kindly sponsoring this portion of the video. AkiFlow is a productivity tool that kind of combines all of your productivity tools into one. So it is essentially a time blocking, time management tool that integrates with all kinds of different tools like Google Workplace, Slack, Todoist, Notion, and many more. It allows you to gather tasks from all of these different platforms, drag and drop them directly into your calendar so that you can consolidate your tasks and get everything into one centralized location. It has an AI co-pilot named Aki. He's really cute and he can help you with your scheduling. Do little things like check the weather every morning, and if it's a sunny day, it'll schedule a run for you in the afternoon. afternoon. It can also auto assign you tasks to save you a lot of time, up your productivity. The AccuFlow environment is highly customizable. You can color code things. So what I personally really love about AccuFlow is that I can use it to time block, but also keep the time blocking out of my actual Google Calendar. So my calendar widget on my phone only shows my appointments, which is what I want to see when I quickly check my calendar. And then my entire time blocked day is in AccuFlow. Also, everything that is recurring in the app as well. So I have baby's naps scheduled in there, my work hours, my ballet classes, recurring things like taking out the recycling on certain days of the week, little reminders like that. It's all automated in there, already set up at the start of every week, and all I have to do on Monday morning is go in and add any specific tasks for that week. It also shows me at a glance what time I have available. A very important thing here being that I pad everything out because life with a baby is unpredictable. But it's also really easy to drag and drop, move tasks to a different day, and just be flexible with your schedule once you have it. Given that my work hours are so limited, I need to utilize them fully and not have to spend time thinking about what I need to do, which is why I love planning out my weeks beforehand, so that every time my working time starts, I can get started straight away. I know what I need to do and I can be as efficient in that time as possible. So if you would like to use AccuFlow to enhance your productivity, get a bit more of a handle on your time, then there is a link in my description box that takes you straight to their website. They offer one-on-one onboarding calls with someone from AccuFlow. I can show you around the interface, show you all the options. So definitely be sure to check that out. It's a wonderful tool. Alrighty, now after all of that talk about peak productivity, I think it's really important to mention what I do during baby's nap times, and that is nothing. Well, that's not entirely true, but I rest. Baby's naps are my rest time. This is a habit that I developed because for a very long time, baby contact napped and I couldn't really do anything besides resting. And then once we transitioned into naps in his crib, I kept up this habit. And I honestly feel like this is a huge part of how I am still standing. Rest is so vital. He is always with me, and having that little bit of time to myself is absolutely vital. So my rule is that during nap times, I don't have to literally sit there and do nothing, but I cannot do chores or work during that time. So I can choose active rest, which often for me is doing a little bit of gardening. I really enjoy pulling weeds in that little bit of time that I have. Or sometimes I feel like doing something special in the kitchen, so that's fine, of course. More often than not, I will just sit down and knit, watch a YouTube video, read for a little bit. And my baby's naps are fairly short, so this is like half an hour twice a day, but just having that is so incredible. And it's also what allows me to do so much knitting. When I am rested and recharged, I am much more able to be productive throughout the rest of the day. I'm more cheerful, I'm able to be more present with baby, and it is just overall a non-negotiable to me and something that does actually greatly help my productivity as well. And then the last thing is I have finally managed to dramatically reduce my screen time, and this has freed up so much time in my life. It is insane. I have a little bit of a phone addiction, have had one for many years now, have been trying to fight it for many years now with varying success, but now for the first time I have actually managed to bring down my screen time, and it is so nice. Like, say your average screen time is 4 hours. That is 4 hours that you could be spending on something else. And I'm not necessarily talking chores here. Like, you don't have to do housework in those 4 hours. You could, but you don't have to. How much nicer would it be to spend those 4 hours practicing a hobby, doing some reading, engaging in some quality time with your family? I just always feel like scrolling on my phone is such an unsatisfying way to spend time. I never actually feel relaxed after I've done it, especially if I go for too long. You know, like those scrolling binges, they just make me feel so bad. So if I want screen time, which is completely fine, I try to make sure that I watch things that have an ending. So a movie or a show on TV or even a YouTube video, but just not the endless stream of short form content that is completely made and designed to make you want to never stop watching it. I really try and stay away from that, and that has freed up so much time in my life that I am now able to spend in better ways. And that is pretty much it. These are the things that I do and have changed, have done in order to be able to get it all done as a work from home mom. And of course, I know everyone's situation is completely different. These things work for me and my situation. They may not work for you, but some of them might. So hopefully this at least gave you some ideas on how you can streamline and simplify things for yourself a little bit in your life as well. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you have an absolutely lovely day ahead of you, and I will see you again back here next week.